Okay, hear me out. This video will change your idea of investing. Investing in the stock market is risky. You can lose a lot of money. And days like today, where the stock market completely tanked and people lost hundreds of millions and trillions of dollars, people tend to get mad, they sell their stocks, they lose money. But Jim Cramer is an investor, he has a TV show, yada yada yada. You probably know him, and if you don't, well, he's nothing crazy. But he does sometimes have some really good points. And a really good point of his is the fact that the times, and sometimes the best times, to buy stocks and continue to invest is down days. Days where there's red days and the whole entire market is crashing, everyone's panicking. That's when you should take your money and just start investing. So let's go through this video real quick and talk about and go over what type of points he's making here, because he made some pretty damn good points.
Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Like me, my friends, I'm just trying to make you a little money. My job is not just entertainment, but to educate, teach you. So call me.
He is very entertaining. I will give him that. 100% love watching the guy and have a lot of respect for him.
1-800-743-CBC. Tweet me, Jim Cramer. Nobody ever made a dime panicking.
That's a good point. And that's a great, catch. Getting the audience really hooked onto what they're watching right now.
No matter how many times I've said that, it always feels like the first utterance. But if you match yesterday's carnage in tech with today's bountiful harvest of winners, you know why I have to repeat myself. If you panicked and sold tech yesterday, you missed today's cornucopia of tech winners.
And that happens every time. Anytime a massive stock market crash happens, or a massive tech sell-off, or any type of stock that plummets in price, the following day or two is normally a strong day for that sector, that specific stock. It always happens that way. Now, it may be long term, we may see kind of a bumpy road ahead for AI stocks, but at least today and potentially tomorrow are going to be huge rebound days where we saw Nvidia drop literally from $130 yesterday down to $118 today, and then $118 back to $127. We were almost back up to where we lost everything from Monday. So just something to keep in the back of your head during this video.
With the Dow gaining 137 points, S&P climbing 0.92%, but the NASDAQ filled with tech going up 2.03%. Now, before we dig into what happened today, I want to emphasize that when I say no one ever made a dime panicking, I'm actually not even talking about being opportunistic.
And this is what you really got to pay attention to.
I'm saying that if you wanted to sell Nvidia into the worst single day loss in history of a market capitalization, then maybe you learned your lesson as the stock bounced back furiously today, up nearly 9%.
See, and my exact point is the stock might have lost 17% yesterday, but even if you panic sold, you missed out on being back up 9% today. So sometimes you just gotta stomach the drops, and a quote like that from Jim Cramer is just the peak thought process you should have during a red day during the stock market. Just making sure to do your own due diligence and research, and if you really believe in a stock, then don't worry about the red days.
Because as bad as this DeepSeek thing might be for Nvidia, it might not be that bad.
And again, to the point of these companies and their fundamentals have not changed. We're continuing to see Broadcom, AMD, Nvidia, all these big AI tech names continue to still do what they're projected to do.
No, it's not back to where it was. I get that, and maybe it shouldn't be. But it really got oversold, and therefore it caught a bounce when there was only one downgrade and a lot of positive chatter that it isn't over for what was not long ago the world's largest company.
Exactly. Like literally 2 weeks ago, if you told me this stock was $115, everyone would have said they would have bought into it. Well, now it's like $115 and people are still panicking and selling it. But it's always that double-edged sword. If a stock price is high, people want to buy it when it's low. But then when it turns low, people don't want to buy it. They want to sell it and stay away from it until it goes back to being high, and then everyone wants to buy it. That's literally the thought process of potentially you and how you kind of interpret the stock market on down days and up days.
I get that it wasn't easy to do nothing. You had to sit on your hands. See, you had this Chinese outfit come out of nowhere and announce basically that you don't need as many NVIDIA chips as you thought for AI because you can get much more out of each chip, maybe 10 times more if you just use their software. Now, that's pretty much what DeepSeek was offering. And it's certainly a frightening prospect for NVIDIA.
It's frightening because it's China, too. Just keep that in mind.
As the company has been perceived to be a monopolist that price gouges. Now, the way I see it, that's nonsense. NVIDIA invented this business, spent billions upon billions of dollars building it up, and it simply charges what the market can bear until
He is very bullish on NVIDIA, so just keep that in mind too.
Last week, we figured that to get most tasks done,
Not that I'm not, but you know what I mean.
to get the best use out of NVIDIA's product, you had to order a colossal number of chips at obscene prices. Now, though, if someone comes along and says, hey, you know what? You can get 10 times as much output from an NVIDIA chip that you thought, you got to figure you only need to order 1/10 as many chips as you thought you needed, right?
That's a good point. It may affect some fundamentals moving forward, but that's still in the future, and we really haven't talked about that. And to be honest, I'm not sure. We're going to figure out when Meta reports earnings tomorrow.
Isn't that the math? And that's why NVIDIA stock got obliterated yesterday. What if everyone who's ordering these chips cancels 90% of their orders? What if you only need 1/10 of the data centers you planned? Okay,
that is a good point. That is a good point that's brought up, and that is a fact of, look, like he said, everyone's scared because of that specific reasoning.
that is enough to scare anyone. But fear doesn't necessarily generate the right decisions when it comes to the stock market. Remember, I'm not talking about being opportunistic again. And buying NVIDIA this morning when it went from +4 to -1, I'm just talking about not selling you the biggest route in history. Or to put it another way, because I really am trying to get this point across, obviously, doing nothing was actually a great strategy.
Just sit there and watch it drop. And as soon as it drops, if you want to buy some, buy some. If not, then let it turn right back around and jump to the upside.
You didn't expose yourself to more risk, and if you're truly worried that NVIDIA might lose 9/10 of its orders, you got a chance to sell at a much better price simply by waiting a day. Sell, sell, sell! The panic yesterday was so palpable.
Every time there's a panic, the stock drops, and then it's a massive opportunity for people to buy into, but no one buys into. And then you see the following day or two, the stock rebounds, and we're back to basically where we were before.
That people even sold the beneficiaries, the companies that are doing well and might even do better if DeepSeek's formula for success spreads. Bunch of knuckleheads. At one point yesterday, we saw some huge potential winners get hammered as stocks like Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, all four of them came roaring back today. They were all fabulous buys.
House of pleasure.
Yes, panic can cause smoke screens that obscure what, in retrospect,
I need a button pad like he's got. I think that'd be pretty entertaining.
were some fairly obvious opportunities. If Meta's buying 500,000 chips from NVIDIA and the price of those chips comes down because people realize they don't need as many, well, how is that negative for Meta? The only way to frame this as a negative is if you got a problem with arithmetic, in which case, instead of doing this, I suggest some remedial math classes might help. Oh, and irony of ironies. How about the
And he kind of goes on to a little bit more of a tangent, goes into more in some of these other AI names and just heavy tech stocks. But honestly, you got the point, and hopefully this was a little bit helpful into kind of just realizing that red days in the stock market can be your best friend. It depends on how you look at it. You may not be able to get the best trade that you're looking for, but you may be able to get the best deal when looking for a long-term investment. And something like this, just next time there's a massive dip, take that into consideration and think to yourself, is this stock a legitimate stock I want to invest to in the next 10 to 15 years? If it is, then this is a prime opportunity to buy into. I don't know. Either way, let me know, guys, what you thought about this video and what stocks you guys are watching in the AI tech space. Is NVIDIA really that guy still? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time.